How does a Dark Lord of the Sith react when the ultimate weapon they placed a significant amount of optimism in gets destroyed by a group of rebels? Well, let's just say not very positively. Through his writings in the Book of Sith, Darth Sidious wrote about his aspirations for the Death Star. Not only would it become the personification of fear, but it would crush all rebellious threats and protests aimed against his empire. Further, although seen clearly in the canon novel Tarkin, but still certainly relevant to the Legends material we'll be looking at, the Death Star would have freed Sidious to devote his time to unlocking the secrets of the Force, rather than Imperial matters he saw as insignificant. Therefore, Sidious's fury knew no bounds following the battle station's destruction, as he planned to make all those centrally connected to the Death Star pay the price for their failure. And thanks to Sidious's writings in the Book of Sith, we also know what his plans would have been regarding the man who had the highest authority over the battle station, Grand Moff Tarkin. In this video expose, I will describe how Sidious planned to punish Tarkin for his failure regarding the first Death Star. Writing in the aftermath of the Battle of Yavin, Sidious had the following to say about Tarkin. The designer has been tortured and the architects executed. Tarkin is fortunate to have died along with the other commanders when the Death Star exploded. He had far too much ambition and his days were numbered. Taking Sidious's words literally, it seems clear that the Sith Lord planned to execute Tarkin for his failure in ensuring that the rebels did not destroy the Death Star, joining the battle station's architects in paying for failure with his life. But would Sidious have really gone all the way and killed the Imperial Grand Moff? Although we do have Sidious's own words, I believe the potential fate of Tarkin becomes even more clear if we compare his fate to the other two leading figures behind the Death Star. In addition to Tarkin, who is given overall jurisdiction of the weapon, we also have Bevel Lemelisk, the chief engineer of the Death Star, and of course, Vader, its supervisor, both of whom were integral to the weapon but weren't killed by Sidious. In the case of Vader, not only was he demoted and reassigned to observe the construction of the second Death Star, but Sidious also cut off his apprentice's right hand for his failure to prevent the destruction of the battle station. But other than that, Vader's life was spared. The case of Bevel, the chief engineer of the Death Star, and most likely the tortured designer referred to by Sidious in the Book of Sith, is much more interesting. Although he initially fled from the persecution he knew was coming, Bevel was eventually found after the Battle of Yavin and brought before Sidious. Sidious had the chief engineer tortured for his part in the destruction of the Death Star, using the Force to trap Bevel within a cage and then releasing within it a swarm of insects known as piranha beetles. As one might have guessed, the insects completely ravaged Bevel's body. But like Vader, Sidious did not kill Bevel, despite the fact that the thermal exhaust port that was taken advantage of by the rebels could have been seen as his failure specifically. Instead, Sidious used a Jedi holocron to transfer Bevel's essence to a clone body. This was a process Sidious would perform an additional 6 times as the Sith Lord engaged in subsequent tortures of the chief engineer. So if Sidious chose to keep 2 of the highest ranking members connected to the Death Star alive despite their failure, was there any hope that Tarkin might have also escaped execution? I don't think so, as I believe we can take Sidious's words literally in the Book of Sith. Although Tarkin was the Grand Moff of the Galactic Empire, and also one of their best tactical and strategic minds, he was still much more expendable than both Vader and Bevel. Of course, Vader's importance was connected to his being the Sith apprentice of Sidious, while Bevel, as master of Imperial projects, was needed to create more super weapons for the Empire. Therefore, I believe that Sidious's words in the Book of Sith ring true. The Sith Lord's wrath would have fallen upon Tarkin as the one with jurisdiction over the entire Death Star project, and is also stated by Sidious for his ever-expanding ambition. Being significantly more replaceable than both Vader and Bevel, Tarkin would have been executed by Sidious for his failure connected to the Death Star. So there we have it, how Palpatine planned to punish Tarkin for his failure during the Battle of Yavin, if the Grand Moff survived. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive hangouts and book discussions. If not for me... for piranha beetles.